One of the easiest things to observe about Trump and his pathetic gaggle is they have zero loyalty to anyone and anything except money and power. You're seeing this right now as Elon Musk and his dog-eat fustercluck attack government employees, many of whom voted for Tiny Fingers and are pushing back.
We are possibly going to lose our farm.
But the First Lady, she rewards no one for loyalty. She just seeks to punish anyone who doesn't kiss her ass.
I do solemnly swear that I will vote for Donald J. Trump.
You begin to understand why the world feels like they're the Titanic and Trump is the iceberg.
Iceberg, right ahead!
There are three things going on here. You got the US, NATO, and Russia, and maybe a fourth with what Germany's chancellor-to-be just said. That's why what's happening here right now is like flying with JFK Jr. in a thunderstorm. We'll get to all that in a second, but first, a reminder to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free and it's easy. All you have to do is, and you're automatically qualified for a monthly drawing to babysit one of Elon's kids over the weekend. What's happening in Germany is a real warning sign. If you remember, Trump already threatened NATO, not very subtly implying that he would allow Russia to plow through Ukraine and attack NATO directly.
No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want.
And now a day doesn't pass that we don't hear from President Musk and the First Lady and their support for the far-right, Hitler-esque, Nazi-sympathetic AfD party in Germany from both Tiny Fingers and Elon Apartheid.
Germany has voted, and it is the end of the road for Chancellor Olaf Scholz. He'll most likely be replaced by this man, Friedrich Merz. His Conservatives won the most votes today. At the age of 69, Merz is about to take his first job in government. He faces an anemic economy, a war raging in Europe, and Donald Trump in the White House. Now, this election also marked a historic rise in support for the far right. The Alternative for Germany, the AfD, won 20%. That's twice as much as the last election. They're headed for the opposition because no one wants to work with them, but their support, their power, they're growing. Tonight, they remain Germany's political pariah, but for how much longer?
And for you non-history majors, Germany and Japan got their asses kicked in WW2, but the Marshall Plan built them back up and they became our strongest allies. But now Trump is threatening all of that. Why? One reason?
Russia, if you're listening.
Recent elections saw Germany's ruling Democratic Party only get 16% of the vote and give the AfD 20%. Not enough to govern, but enough for Germany's next conservative chancellor to call out MAGA America and send warning signals across the globe.
The absolute priority from my point of view is that the Europeans communicate and are united among themselves. Currently, the larger part of European politics without Germany. It has, of course, something to do with the election campaign and also now this interim phase. But I am in close communication with many prime ministers, heads of state and government leaders of the European Union. And for me, the absolute priority will be to strengthen Europe as quickly as possible so that we step by step also truly achieve independence from the USA. I would not have believed that I would have to say something like this on a TV program. But at the latest, after last week's statements by Donald Trump, it's clear that the Americans, at least this part of the American government, are largely indifferent to Europe's fate. I am very curious about how we will approach the NATO summit at the end of June. Head towards June, whether we will still be talking about NATO in its current state, or if we need to establish independent European defense capabilities much more quickly. So that has absolute priority for me. And I have absolutely no illusions about what is happening from America. Look at what Mr. Elon Musk has done recently in terms of interventions in the German elections. That is an unprecedented event. So the interventions from Washington were no less dramatic and drastic and ultimately brazen than the interventions we had from Moscow. Still seen. So we are under such massive pressure from two sides that my absolute priority now truly is to establish unity in Europe.
What does all this mean? Well, let's get back to Trump, Russia, and NATO.
You got to pay.
Trump has the full and unconditional support of Putin, and Trump has indicated that maybe Putin might need to roll over Europe.
You got to pay.
And Chubby Fingers is attempting to force Ukraine to cede land to Russia, Neville Chamberlain-like.
You got to pay.
And then make demands for territory in Greenland, Canada, Gaza, and the Panama Canal.
You got to pay.
As well as forcing Ukraine to give up precious earth minerals to pay for the war.
You got to pay.
Just over 1 month into a second term, the America First moron has cast an ugly shadow over America America's once calming presence of global stability and continuity. And if there is a common thread in all of this, it's immigration. Trump joined the worldwide call for stronger borders, but that's just part of it. Just like the far right in Europe, it's not immigrants, it's immigrants who look different than us.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
Here it's Mexicans, in Europe it's Muslims. But what's missing here is real leadership, and that's more than border guards and walls to keep people out. Now, the real answer is addressing the reason behind immigrants leaving their homes and how we treat them when they arrive. And of course, not all immigrants should be welcome.
See, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
You saw that coming, didn't you?
Damn right.
I'm as mad as hell.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes!
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.